Hello, this is Ditatan from VP Universe, and we are in this series of video tutorials to learn how to use Colorizing DMD and Serum format in order to colorize DMD for pinball machine. Well, when I'm saying pinball machine, I'm talking about virtual pinball machine. The real pinball machine are not supported yet, but people are working on that. So in this video, we'll be talking about fixed and dynamic colorization. So I've already talked in the first video about what is fixed content and dynamic content, but what I didn't show you is how to colorize it. So now that you know a bit more about the tools, about the mask and so on, let's get started with colorization. So here we are on Colorizing DMD, and now I've prepared two different frames from the Scared Stiff project, demo project that you can download. The link is in the video description. So I will be using these two frames. One obviously has some dynamic content, it is the jackpot score here, and the other one is a fixed content because it will never change whatever happens. So every time this frame is displayed as the raw frame is displayed, it will be the same content that will be displayed here, and we want it to be colorized, of course. So as a reminder, sorry, from the previous videos, if you remember well, and I will be putting the tips here. When I am in the active frame, if I'm using the shift button, I will be cancelling the colorization. If I hit control or control plus shift, I will be cancelling the selection if I'm doing some copy paste, which won't be the case, I guess, on this video. And second tips is for the palette. Remember that when I'm using left shift or alt, it is to alter the palette with the colors there. So these are again very useful in Colorizing DMD, so you will need your keyboard, whatever. So now let's colorize this guy that will be hidden by the bunny beast just a few frames later, so we shouldn't spend too much time on him as he will disappear very soon. What I will do is select first the colors that I want these guys to be. So the shirt will be in red, so I'm selecting the red set that I've been initializing already. I could also manually set every single layer. As there is different shades of orange, you see bright orange, a bit dark and darkest orange here, so the three level of layers. If I use the color replace mask with the rectangle tool, it will change all the pixels to the corresponding color. So as you've seen, bright orange to bright red, etc. I used the left button of the mouse. As you can see here, remember about this red square where you can see and keep track about what I'm doing. So here, left button to colorize with fixed colors. This guy is not whole red, so I will use the skin set that I'm using all over the project, so to colorize his hand and his head. And well, in the other frames, I've been using trousers. These trousers are in blue. I'm not so happy with that, so I will be using green instead. Let's select the screen sets here, and I am colorizing that in green because I want him to have white shoes, or at least gray shoes. Yeah, this is it. And we have our guy that is fully colored now. Of course, you can see that it used to be in blue for the trouser, so I would like to change that. There are two ways to do it. Either I go on each frame and I will just redraw and recolor the trouser there. I can also see that the two frames here are the guy is exactly at the same position, so I can either copy paste the content from one to the other, or I can select the two frames together using control or using shift to select multiple frames, the same way that you are selecting files in the Windows Explorer. So I will use Control here. I'm selecting the first one. Make sure that I've got gray that is selected here, and I'm repainting it, everything in gray. Yeah, I can do like that, and select the skin, set here to redraw the hand, and that's it. As you can see, the two frames were colored the same way. This one remains a small pixel in blue. I will just remove it. For the other one, I have no choice. These are specific, so I will need to colorize it manually. So let's do it, but as you can see, it's very quick to do it. Now I've got my guy with green trousers. So this is how it's done to colorize a fixed content. So very easy, very straightforward. When we are going now to a dynamic content, well, a frame containing some dynamic content. So there I will be using the two buttons of the mouse. One will be for the fixed content, and the other one, so the left button for the fixed content, and the other one, the right button for the dynamic content. And I will explain how. So I'll just mention that to you. Left button for fixed, right button for for dynamic. So here I've got the fixed content color. Here I've got the dynamic content color. So dynamic content is made out of the standard palette of the frame. So you cannot have 64 colors for the fixed and additional colors for dynamic. No, it is the same. What we see here is only a shortcut of the palette. So I can select, I don't know, for example, green, yellow, red, and white, and it will change dynamically the content to this new palette, meaning that if it's 500, it will be displayed like that. If it's 200,000, it will be displayed also the same way. Why so? Because when I set up the mask, the mask will take care only and be focused only on detecting that it is a jackpot scene, and whatever is below here doesn't matter. So in the frame, I'm detecting jackpots. Jackpot, it means that we run this frame. On this frame, I'm saying that this part, and I will put it a bit larger, this part is with dynamic content, so whatever is displayed here will be dynamically colored. If I'm not so happy with the colors that I have here, I can switch between the different sets. So I can initialize, for example, I would say I want it to be yellow. Okay, so again, I'm using the right button at the same place, and it will now replace the dynamic content. If I want to spot a bit clearly where is the dynamic content, I can hit this button, and it's a bit more visible, sorry, to see where the dynamic content stands. For the fixed content, because it's fixed, I can do exactly what I want. So I can use either the color set replace, that will replace all the colors corresponding, all the layers corresponding with the corresponding colors. Otherwise, I can also use the monochrome draw. Monochrome draw is just, it will just draw with the color I've selected, whatever the position in the set. If I'm using this one here, I can draw exactly what I want, and because it's fixed content, it will always be displayed. This part will never change. Only this part will adapt to the display of the screen. Be aware that, for example, in a thing like that, if your dynamic content area is a bit too small, you may have a score that is, I don't know, 2 million, for example, might be. So it might not be fully displayed. So be aware that to leave enough room around the dynamic content to make sure that it will cover all the use case that you will have when you play the game. So that's it basically for the fixed content versus the dynamic content. A long video just to say that you need to use either the left button, either the right button to draw fixed or dynamic content. Yeah, perhaps something that I haven't said before. I mentioned, I think, in the video previously, that if you want to remove the color, or as if you were to remove the mask, you need to hit the Shift key. So it's exactly the same, Shift plus left button to remove some colors, fixed colors, and because we use the right button, it is Shift plus right button if I want to remove some dynamic content. So again, I said earlier that the keys were key for colorizing DMD. So again, you will be using a lot the Shift, Control, Alt key while using the software. So get used to it. So you got here the reminders about what it is used for. Shift to undo mask or to undo color. So Shift plus left button for fixed content, Shift plus